When gold and silver go up, it's bad for the US dollar. Who's holding the most amount of treasuries? Well, it would be the Fed and the US government, China, and other players. Those are your main suspects. Also, if you think about what's going on in the economy and Basel III and gold being named a tier 3 high quality liquid, tier 1 high quality liquid asset. It's actually just a high quality liquid asset, not tier 1, but that's what the internet wants to call it. Basically, gold and Basel III, which is a regulation all the world's central banks follow because it's comes out of the BIS, which is the guidance, the policy and guidance for all the central.
In today's feature, the rise of gold and silver isn't a sign of prosperity. It's a warning. These precious metals are reflecting the fading dominance of the US dollar and the silent restructuring of the global monetary system. As central banks and major economies continue to accumulate gold, they're preparing for a new financial order, one backed by tangible assets, not debt-based fiat promises. The world has now crossed a critical threshold. Less than half of global reserves are held in US dollars, signaling the erosion of the dollar's century-long reign as the world's reserve currency. Financial analyst Robert Kientz, founder of Gold Silver Pros, says this transformation is no accident. He argues that governments are deliberately reshaping the system using regulatory tools like Basel III, along with the upcoming rollout of CBDCs and digital IDs, to build a new centralized financial structure. According to Kientz, the current suppression of gold and silver prices is a temporary illusion, a way to buy time for the powerful to prepare while the public remains unaware. He warns that when the transition completes, those holding real assets will thrive, and those relying on paper promises may be left behind. Now, let's dive into key clips from Robert Kientz's latest interview, where he breaks down what this shift means for everyday investors and the future of money.
If people want to know when gold's going to launch, I'll tell you when it's going to launch. When the powers that be figure out and it reaches its true value. So when the powers that be have got enough control and are ready to implement CBDCs, then they're going to revalue the gold and silver, and then they're going to extinguish the debt, either write it off or use the gold and silver as collateral. What is Judy Shelton out on Twitter saying today? Oh, let's do a gold-backed treasury because I'm a gold bug. No, you want to do a gold-backed treasury because you're trying to use the gold that you stole from people all of these years because you didn't let it trade at its right price, and you let the central banks buy it, suppressed by the commercial banks, to do your dirty work for you so that you can back the treasury so that you can flip us into CBDCs without having a full default. It's not really what we all want to happen. I mean, I know we all cheer when the gold price goes up, but there's a certain point in which it invalidates the status of the dollar. And the rest of the world knows this. The rest of the world knows it because they're de-dollarizing. And as Lynette Zhang pointed out on her show recently, and as I've been pointing out as well, is that now less than 50% of global reserves of any currency is not in the dollar, or less than 50% is in the dollar. So we passed that the Maginot line at which the dollar is no longer the dominant currency. It's no longer the world's reserve currency. It's over. That is over, okay? And they know it. And so it's like, you know, I've used this description before in your channel. They're trying to steer the Titanic. They know it's going down. They're trying to steer it through the icebergs and get as many people off the ship. The problem with all of this is they know what's going on, and he's right in his comments. But they can't allow it to completely revalue because the Titanic goes down, it crashes, and we're in serious and deep trouble. And so really, you know, as you and I were talking on the program before, it's a blessing that the price is going down in a way because it allows people to go get more. I wouldn't want to be a seller of it at this point because the U.S. financial system, I mean, hell, the whole global financial system is a train wreck, a dumpster fire with a nuclear bomb, you know, sitting right on top of it, about to go off any minute now. It is a god-awful mess. And when it blows up, a lot of people are going to get hurt. And your only savior is going to be the gold and silver and not CBDCs. And that's what the government wants to go in. And oh, by the way, I'm going to point out, we're going to segue a little bit to CBDCs and digital ID. The main reason I think that the governments of the world do not want to allow the dollar to fail just yet, and that's even including competitors, China, Russia, and the BRICS nations, is one, they hold a lot of treasuries. But two, they're not ready yet either. because the CBDCs, while they're on their way, are still in beta phase and testing phase. And they've been doing this for a long time, but it's not quite ready to implement. And secondly, the digital IDs haven't been fully rolled out. But it's funny that this summer, Aaron, who's with the Brownstone Institute and runs digital, or the Daylight Freedom Foundation, sorry, Aaron Day, came on my program. Is like, Rob, we've all been covering CBDCs. And then over the summer, while we were not looking, the digital IDs, which we thought maybe were ways away, got implemented in 17 countries. In Vietnam, if you don't have a digital ID, you cannot have a job and you don't have access to a bank account. In Mexico, they're requiring you to have all of your biometrics on a government database, or to be a citizen, to exist in the country, or you presumably the threat is that you lose access to anything, including, I don't know, the ability to rent an apartment. We don't know what the fallout of that's going to be. In Australia, they're using AI to collect people's identities. The governments of the world want to put us in this digital prison, Danny, and they're not quite ready for that moment where gold is revalued. Because look, the U.S. government, Bissett and Trump and all the people in the U.S. government really gave a damn about the American people above all else right now.
If they truly wanted to bring stability, they would have brought gold back to the forefront, revalued their reserves as they've been hinting for years, paid off portions of the debt, or allowed a gold-backed currency to compete with the dollar. But they haven't done any of that. Instead, they're pushing meme coins, digital tokens, and other distractions, steering the public into the digital side of finance while governments quietly accumulate gold for themselves. The plan is to trap citizens in a digital system, a financial prison disguised as innovation. This isn't speculation anymore. It's already happening in 17 countries and even 11 U.S. states. The real ID system, which was supposed to be just a security measure, has quietly moved into digital form, and most people have no idea. Once it's linked with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and digital IDs, it can be used to control access to financial and public services. The rollout is expected to be complete by 2028, both in the United States and much of the world. And that's when this shift becomes more than policy. It becomes a form of global control. When the dollar finally crashes, and it will, it won't be an accident. Every major power, including China, is playing along. If China really wanted to hurt the U.S., they could dump treasuries or restrict rare earth exports overnight. Everyone is working toward the same endgame, to move to CBDCs, to extract gold from private circulation, and to centralize the system. That's the reality. So yes, people are frustrated about gold and silver prices being suppressed. It's infuriating, and it feels like a crime. But paradoxically, this gives us more time. Time for more people to wake up and step out of this manipulated system before it fully locks in. Because once digital IDs and centralized currencies are in place, financial independence disappears. Those who hold real assets, tangible stores of value, will still have a chance. And let's not forget, look closely at the connections between political figures and powerful tech elites. People like Bill Gates and Peter Thiel. These partnerships reveal the direction things are heading, not just in finance, but in health, data, and personal freedom. The message is clear. Pay attention now, or risk being trapped later. If you like our video, please like, share, and subscribe our channel.